Today we have a special guest, Bearded Bobber, aka Jeff Myers. We had a really good conversation the night that we recorded this, and I wanted to get on here and he's got some powerful shit, but give him a proper introduction and give you guys a little bit of history because I didn't get to go into that much on the episode. We got to talking like schoolgirls, I think. I think Jeff did anyways. Bearded Bobber isn't just a name in the motorcycle community. He's a man who's lived the ride in a way most people never can understand. He's got a episode out about men's mental health, and I'll put that in the link below too, but it's very hard seeing somebody that you care about open up and hurt. So I don't know if it's old age or what, but I got real emotional through it. You guys go check his episode out if you get a chance. I'll put it in the link below. No filters, no bullshit, and I'm pretty sure Indian hired him for his beard. I wouldn't quote that, but he's got the kind of story that makes you stop and rethink a lot of shit. Without further introduction, welcome Bearded Bobber.
We had dabbled in this topic already on our first call. Our first call, it was recorded and all, but it wasn't actually, I don't think it was really meant to produce anything episode-wise or content-wise, but we recorded it anyway. And I had shared it I shared it in the ambassador chat, my little reaction to the question. And Jeff, did you have a chance to look through that Who Am I email?
Yeah, and I have it right here.
So you've been warned a little bit, and Josh has a really good. He wrote it all out.
But, looks professional as shit, man.
His response, he wrote it all out, and he said it, and I was just like, wow, dude, you need to write a book. But if I asked you to describe yourself without mentioning your job, your relationships, or your hobbies, could you do it? And if you can, or if you think you can, how would you describe yourself?
Honestly, I've been racking my brain because it's one of those, like, the second you start thinking about it, like a giant spider web, because which way do you go? And everything I look at, I'm like, that conflict's here. That was shaped by this. That was trauma from this. This was, I feel like I'm a good person, but that's because the reactions I get from relationships. And if I was by myself, and who am I? I don't know.
I don't know. When I was left to my own thoughts, I didn't make very good ones.
I've had a couple like bad moments in my head of like I haven't seen my kids in a couple weeks. There was like a couple things, and I'm about to see him, and there was a chance that I wouldn't see him, and I'm like, that breaks me down mentally, and things like that. I'm like, I see other vantage points of like how people end up being shitty people. But at the same time, I'm like, I can't see myself being that person. And it all comes back to, okay, when those things are not there or taken away or weren't there, never there in the first place, I'd still come back to being just a good person. But at the same time, what does that really mean if you don't have any relationships to bounce it off? As I feel like I just spiral in this question, like really hard.
Am I a good person if I think it nobody else does? Or am I a good person if they think it even if I don't?
Yeah. I was like, I've had people think I'm a piece of shit one day and great person the next day. So I've been told that. Or an hour later, like, it doesn't, Like, how do you gauge that without everything else?
Yeah, without.
It's not really meant to be.
That's true,
honestly. It's just to make you think.
Make me think too hard, man. I got enough to think about.
Hey, I just got me an energy drink.
Why do we have to describe ourselves without mentioning jobs, relationships, hobbies, etc.? Why did you question it or form it that way?
To see what you believe in instead of what everybody's made you think was right? What's your core values that you believe in?
What about what I want to be or what I want to see myself as? I mean,
Yeah,
to
dude,
a
just
point,
think
we're
what
all
you can be.
humble. Yeah, we're all humble to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Some people, they can talk about themselves all day long, but I think it's also important that you view yourself through how you deal with everybody else too, and your hobbies, etc. I think that's part of creating who you are, right?
Yeah, and I think that all bad decisions that we do in life are meant to make us judge good or bad. I think
Yeah.
that's lessons that we had to learn through pain.
Yeah,
that we had to learn through heartache.
there's always little bad decisions that are going to be part of what shapes us. It doesn't make you necessarily. You can still reshape it unless there's some massive bad decisions, and if you're smiling through them, then maybe you are a piece of shit.
But also, we keep talking about the bad situations, the poor decisions, the poor reactions, whatever it might be. You gotta. It's the positive stuff that also reinforces who you are too.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
the pain.
do that.
I think that, like you said, like we all have known each other for a little bit, and being humble and we're not trying to take center stage. I don't think any of us have ever tried to do that. And I don't know how many times, even like something small, group ride, whatever. I don't even want to lead the pack. I was like, I'm here hanging out. This is a group thing. And we may get pushed to that every once in a while, but it doesn't mean that we need to be the center of attention. So I'm trying to think I went off on that a little bit.
That's been a big problem why it was so hard for me to try to make my own brand, because it wasn't really about my interest. It was like I wanted to see the group succeed. You know what I mean?
I have plenty of times where I've made decals and logos for people, and I have no problem doing it. And then I try to do it for myself, and I have no clue what I'm doing. It's like I just don't get it. And I think what I was saying, when being humble, we focus more on the bad because of that. We're like, oh, I'm not gonna focus on the good because I'm not trying to lift myself up. I'm trying to fix the other shit that I've done. And that's how I think we keep on saying bad instead of focusing on the good. Because especially if you've seen too many people focus on the good, it feels like they're putting themselves on a pedestal, and you're like, I don't want to be that fucking. And I was like, I'll keep doing good stuff, but I don't need to talk about it. Like there was, especially early in the YouTube channel, I had people like come up to me and they're like, you're my favorite YouTuber. I had no idea how to react to that. And I was like,
Right.
To me, I'm like, oh, I have a tiny channel. I don't do anything but bullshit and cuss on YouTube. Who am I? And Nikki had to tell me, like, you're not reacting correctly. And I'm like, I have no clue how to react. Like, how do you
Never been taught how to react.
And I was like,
receiving compliments.
Yeah, I was like, I'm around a couple people. There's Brandon McCuskey was with me, and I was like, I look up to him. I was like, Jay Fassel was with me. I look up to him. There's a dude with 500,000 subscribers. I'm like, I'm nobody. And I was like, and so I think that's where that keeps coming back to. But I could make my channel better. I could do this. I could have better merch. I could have better this. And I go right to that instead of, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a simple thing, but it doesn't feel simple in the moment. It gives you that. Yeah. What do I do?
Say?
Yeah.
I've noticed now I got to do something.
So anything is like, and all the word that has to come out is, oh my God, thank you. And it's not the word that comes out right away.
I know. I found out I was almost insulting them by not taking their compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Nikki said. You're not reacting correctly. And I was like, I don't know.
But we don't ever actually celebrate the good stuff in our lives. We just see that things that we can make better. And I think that's a problem too.
I even do that with personal stuff, like with my daughter graduating soon. I go, yeah, I'm very happy for her. And I can see that more than I can be happy for myself. But then I'll twist it to, my mom won't see this, or she's going to miss the next step and the next step and the next step. And then I end up down another fucking wormhole of negativity for no reason.
And you have this guilt about your mom not being able to see it, and you have no idea why.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's knowing she was there, like, she took care of me, and then now, like, she can't see me do it, and how good especially when I see bad, there's bad people in her place that, like, if my mom was here, would show how bad that person was. Like she'd set the standard. And I don't mind boasting. I'll boast my mom all day. I was like, she's number one. But then if it comes to me, I don't do the same. Even though, like, my kids say that, like, I don't say it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I could be better. I could be there more. And it keeps just spiraling back to that.
Might sound dumb, but I always try to say 3 good things about myself in front of the mirror before I get ready in the day.
It doesn't sound dumb at all. I just don't know if I could do it.
It sounds dumb giving yourself a compliment in a mirror. Let me just.
I just started to think if I could make it through it. I could be on the second one and it'd be like, no, you need to go work out. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. Not even just saying physically, but that's where I'd break down. We could do this. Oh, you got to do this. There's always something.
That's how we have to trick our brains to thinking there's the good in us that we're seeing in ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen, that reminds me of The Help. Have you seen The Help? I think it was The Help.
You're talking about the movie?
The movie.
I was like, I know the movie, but
Yeah, I think she's saying it to a little girl, if I remember right. You is kind, you is smart, you is important.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Saying those things, that just reminded me of that. Saying those things to yourself or something similar in the mirror every day.
I think it honestly can come back around to you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I was like, where people can sit there and tell us and help us and boost us, but looking in the mirror, like it's hard to actually do it for ourselves. That's one good thing I'm happy about our generation versus the older generation is the mental health, the health game has been such a different thing. I was like, if YouTube was back a long time ago and we tried to talk about men's mental health, like like my dad trying to talk about a therapist, like even back.
I didn't even know what it was when YouTube's.
I don't know. Yeah. But being able to talk about it, and especially being a man, I remember growing up, you don't cry, you don't do that. And it still was always like, okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you got to let it out still in some way. I'm not saying you got to cry every day. I still have that. I don't do that. But I can say, like, I don't know if I said it in that video, but easily twice a year, there's like just a gut punch of, if I don't let this out, like something bad's going to happen. I'm not like going to go on a rampage or anything crazy or hurt myself, but I guess mentally to the point where there's a panic attack or something. But I'll usually just watch movies that trigger it and really just let it out.
Do you ever think that maybe those old biker guys in the clubs might have gave us better guidance than our bosses?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Oh, Sturgis, 23. I didn't plan on buying the Pursuit. It just happened. And it wasn't PDI'd yet, so it wasn't ready to sell. They had to PDI the whole thing. They had to go through the whole thing. It wasn't ready to be on the showroom floor, essentially. Not their fault. Different story. But, dude, sitting and talking to some of these guys, because I sat there almost all day long, and people would come in to get out of the rain because it just rained like crazy that whole time I was there. And you just sit down and start talking to some people, and you learn so much in just a little amount of time. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they just feel like they don't have to teach you anything like your boss does or something like that, and so they just lay it all out.
Yeah, it's one of those, it doesn't affect and there's no like repercussions. So, like you talk to them all, dude, there ain't no repercussions. You know, what you're gonna hear.
Man, nobody's going to HR for saying something they shouldn't have said.
No. Depending on that trauma, everybody's, like you're saying, everyone has different trauma. It's like because I did a video on it a while back. I don't know if you guys watched it, where I talked about.
That's why we wanted you. Yeah, that's why we wanted you on here, man.
Thank you so much. No,
I remember that video. I need to watch it again too.
It's brutal. The anniversary of my mom's death date's coming up in April, and it's so easy to get stuck in that, especially the initial trauma, to push away like best friends and family and not care about anything. Thankfully, I have a mindset to come back and not let that happen, but yeah, it stays there like consistently. And I was like, I don't know if that never happened to me, I'd be in a different place. I might not have my kids. And then you go down that wormhole of, if I didn't have that trauma, I wouldn't have all this other stuff. And then
you'd be a totally different person.
Yeah.
I think you go through just the amount of pain you need to become who you are, you know what I mean? So you have to go through all that to see a bigger or a different understanding.
goes to I wouldn't be here and go to Indian Motorcycle Ambassador if Harley hadn't turned me away the day before I went to Indian Motorcycle. And I felt like trash the way they treated me. So here I am, and it's created who I am because they sent me out the door.
I don't know how many people I know that same. There's a couple personally good friends that have the same story. And it's just like, just dicks. I was like, Brandon Picasso was one of them. And it's just the way it handled and went down. He's like, go over there. I was like, you could see the picture get bigger later, like when you're seeing everything. But I did it afterwards. And I think, was it 5 Harley dealers and 3 of them were dicks to me all on the same day?
Wow.
All in your area?
All throughout, like Orange County to here. There's like, mainly it was like people that just worked there, like not even salespeople. It was like fucking counter people. And I was just trying to buy the poker chips, trying to buy those to send to people in New Zealand. And they're just like trash. One of them was like, you could tell that chick worked every Sturgis since it was invented. And she just did not give a shit about me. And I was just like, okay, can you give me the chips so I can leave this place and never come back? I don't know what her trauma was, but didn't light her up as a good person.
That's right. That's what, because my story, I turned it into motivation for me instead of a victim story that I started out feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a bad memory, but it's a powerful one.
That's a hard one. I know, I'm sure you get people like, you're brave, you're this, and I don't know, honestly, what to think. Like, yes, that's what I would think. I was like, I don't know what I would think if I was in your shoes, like how to do that.
Man, I'm just surviving. That's all we do. That's what I felt like I was doing before anyways, just a different type.
Yeah, I think I just posted, it was Joe Dirt when he's just like, keep on keeping on, man. What am I going to do?
It's always this simple shit that makes the most sense.
Life's a garden. You got to dig it.
Yeah.
I love that, man. And just like you said, simple thing that it can get you through every day, no matter bad, good, whatever.
Yeah. It's like you have to experience before that thing clicks in your head, though. Once you experience, you're like, oh, I've heard this shit. Like reading a book 1,000 times and it feels like a different story.
Yeah, that's just different perspectives. Even like you're saying that you're reading it again, but if something happens to you in between, then you'll see it differently.
Yeah.
Nikki and I do this where we listen to like music and we break down the song differently. And we thought about recording it because it can be a drastic difference, man.
There's same words, just you get a completely different feel.
Yeah, there's a country song. What's it called? I Hope You're Happy Now, and it's a duet. Can't remember off the top of my head who sings it, but she's saying I hope you're happy now, but she like didn't actually love him and took too long to let him go, and he got too attached. And the way I look at it is like my ex, because I'm like, bitch, fuck you. Like, you didn't have to do this, and I was the better person. And she sees it in a whole different perspective that like I can't grasp fully because I only see it in my light. And then every time she even breaks it down, I'm like, yeah, nope, it's the other way. Yeah, that's it.
And just reading the lyrics, though, it's probably not going to do it justice by seeing it one way or another. You probably have to hear it through the voice.
Like I said, like we've sat there and just listen to it, and then still, it's one of those. I see it one way and she sees it a whole different way.
Yeah.
So how do you change people when everybody thinks they're right?
I wish I had a good answer for that, but I don't. I like have the Keanu Reeves mentality about it. It's like someone, says 4 + 4 is 5. Then I just, cool, man. Yeah, great. And just go on about your day.
My question is, what you said, how do you change people? Do you need to change how they see it, or at least understand? That's what you're getting at. Like, understand a different point of view. And if they can't be civil and understanding, depends on the situation. Could take a lot longer.
People are in all different stages of the understanding of the mental health aspect. Like, you still have old timers that there's no such thing as anxiety. That's bullshit.
I've actually seen people who recently have had their eyes opened because one of my good friends that works at the shop, he was working at the railroad and he ended up being on call 7 days a week to, like, if the phone rang or anything, he started to have a panic attack. And he ended up quitting to come back. And it's just, his wife saw what it was doing to him. And like before that, he didn't believe that shit at all.
No, it breaks people because people won't believe in it until it gets to that point.
I've had it to where I'm like, I don't want to get out of the car, and I'm just like sitting there. But it's sometimes like the first couple times it happens to you, especially in my case, my body would just almost do small shakes where I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was able to tell myself what's happening, but it like those first couple times, you're like, look, fuck is this?
Like, why does this adrenaline hit me over me talking in front of somebody? That's what my thought. Why does my entire brain feel fucked up when I try to do?
I was like, I was by myself when they happened. I was like, that shit beat me up, man.
Like I had a boss, one of my first jobs out of high school, just not a very good guy, and drove a certain truck. And so even after I had quit that job, and it was only a wintertime job, and I'd see a truck that looked like his, didn't even have to be the same color. I got that feeling. I'm like, oh no, here he is.
I've had that. My business partner, every time I saw a car even after he sold the car, I kept seeing that car, and I was like, oh, if I don't want to deal with this today, I don't want to deal with this today.
And it's not the guy.
No.
Those types of feelings is why I didn't hardly even leave my house last year. I didn't want to do shit.
That's
I bet a lot reminded you of all sorts of stuff.
Everything did. It was so weird from being in a wheelchair for so long. When I actually got a prosthetic and can stand up and look out the front door through that same view that I'm used to, I feel like a completely different world. This feels like a whole different view. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like your body gets so used to one thing that it doesn't know that there's so many different levels.
That's crazy.
Trying to wrap my head around that.
But I'm trying to like, I don't have anything that can connect to that. And I'm trying. I was like, that's just such a unique experience. Like it's
Which part?
for you to be able to see the world in two different views, even though you saw it before. And then it's like you were talking about with the fleas, except for you changed.
Like 3 different views.
People's lives and habits don't change unless catastrophic event happens in their life that makes it change. You know what I mean? I didn't even know to look different places. Like I felt like I'm not supposed to be at this fucking job, but I'm supposed to provide for my family. Yet I'm not actually taught how to provide for my family or even how to do this job. I'm just put out here to basically understand through my own experience, not actually guidance, you know what I mean? And then I got into situations where I was like, it's not even important anymore. If my view never mattered in life, then it's not gonna matter now.
That was before you were thinking about that? Before the wreck?
I was very disconnected way before.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know who I was. I was trying to find what the fuck I enjoyed and what I was passionate about. But it's not about going and looking for shit. We're supposed to create that.
It's easy to shut down too. You know, I was like looking at it that way. Before I met Nikki, I was divorced and I had the kids, but when I didn't have the kids, it was work, and I worked graveyard, which made it even worse. So it's like having that, like any connection or anything, it was easier just to not do anything.
Yeah, you maybe get one day to have a connection.
There was a friend of mine named Nikki, and she invited me out for her birthday, and I was already in bed. And it was just like, I'm sorry. Like, a part of it was like, this is like one of his really good friends, and I don't know if I should cross that line of hitting her up. Like, I was like, oh, I'm in bed, but also at the same time, I was like, I don't want to fucking do anything. It was easier than just not do anything.
About this next part, the chameleon effect.
Have you ever heard of that?
Maybe not in the way you're saying it. I haven't.
Mirroring people. So I would get real nervous and anxious when I'd get in crowds of people. What I found out is because I didn't know who I was. So I go into this group and it overwhelms me because I think I need to try to be somebody to please all of them. But once I understand that I wasn't looking for me, I was looking for what I wanted in life. If you had it, I thought I can replicate you and understand you, and my life would head that direction too. We're not meant to be somebody else's path. We're meant to learn from a little bit from everybody in our life and use that experience to help instead of following somebody else's path. I don't know. Not really. I'm not saying if your dad's a doctor, don't, then you go. I'm not meaning like that.
Yeah, join the family business.
Both my parents were entrepreneurs. Like my dad owned 7 companies. My mom owned her own. So I saw them work 24/7. It wasn't a clock in and clock out. So that was never important for me to learn. Now I'm like, but they're getting on to me for not being on time. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's technically, I run the shop. I have to handle the sign broke. Like I got to fix that. I got to do it. It's like, I'm going to Home Depot. It's not like I'm on the clock, but I'm on the clock all the time. Hear that? Holds of honor. That was impressive.
There was.
I couldn't believe Kevin bought it though.
Who bought it?
One of Fish's buddies that I met. I don't remember where I met him, but like rides with him all the time.
Durango. He was in Durango, right?
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there that same year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I panned him and I was like, the fucking Kevin, he bought it? I'm like, all right. At least he didn't go. I was just trying to push up the thing.
How often does Nikki ride?
Nikki does not get to ride as much as she wants to. It pisses her off. In fact, especially since she started working from home, it's not like she can really ride to work. It was like, and when she does, now it's 56 miles for her, and there's a lot of like lane splitting and traffic, and it's not enjoyable.
Not
I'm
fun.
like, no, I'll go do it. I don't give a shit. I'll lane split the Challenger all day long. I was like, first, nope, out of the way. I will say Nikki's going to Borrego Springs Babes Ride Out. So her and her sister will be riding. It's not too far from here. It's a couple hour ride. So she's going to go. It's the all girl camp out kind of thing.
Right. Yep.
Her sister's going to take my Challenger and she'll take her Chief and go down there.
So do they have that girls ride out in like multiple locations?
Yeah. So they had
your one.
So they had one in the middle of California, and then they had Borrego Springs is new the last few years. So she hasn't gotten to do this one yet. The one in the middle of California moved, and now I think it's in Oregon this year. I think so. And then they have East Coast ones. They have Babes in the Dirt, and then Dream Roll is a whole different brand, but same kind of thing. And that one's like,
Yeah.
is it like Wyoming or something like that?
So the Dream Rolls in Shelton, Washington.
Washington. Okay. That makes sense. She's up in Washington.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was further over. There's that Magpie Flies, I think, has a campground too, or a camp out.
Did you guys get nervous on your first group ride together, or not together? But
My first group ride was a damn demo ride, like when the demo truck came through. And I was like,
really?
yeah, we do 10 people at a time at least. And fucking doing that shit with Pat before Pat was a friend. I was like, and I've seen, there was one chick took a Springfield and the ride was over. Everyone's safe. Cool. We did it. And she whiskey bottles that thing right in the back of a truck after we got back to the dealer.
Oh man.
So, and I wanted the damn bike. I was like, this is bullshit. You guys should give it like $10,000 of damage. She ripped the bags off. Like that thing was gnarly, man. Yeah. I get more nervous about other people than I do myself. I was like, there's some people like what we were talking about. Jade Pass from Canada came down. We went to Big Bear, and he's the first person that ever rode literally side by side with me. I was like, the first day we were riding up in the mountains, and I was just like, okay, I can do this. I like having more comfort, but like when we're just chilling side by side, yeah. I was like, but I was like, once again, I was like, whatever it was, I was like, I trusted what he was doing. I was like, some of these other people. You see these old dudes too get on the demo rides, and you're like, oh, okay, they don't. Shit. Ridiculous, man.
Do you journal? Have you journaled?
I have a long time ago.
And thinking on your statement, you got to kind of let it out. Do you think that when you were journaling, it was easier to let those things out? or changed at all as from when you were journaling or not journaling?
I probably had to try it again as an adult to really see it. I was a teenager. And I think about as a teenager, my biggest way of letting it out because it was still like very fresh, like long walks in the middle of the desert. I mean, Golden Valley, Arizona is just a wide open desert, sitting and like enjoying I'm so thankful I didn't grow up with social media. Like, because there is a lot of good and there's a lot of bad, but I was able to just center myself and watch the sunset, as weird as that may sound, like, especially without having a bike to take a picture in front of it. The yelling straight into the sky and just not giving a shit because neighbors were like a mile apart. I think that was like not something I do now. I guess I technically do that now. I have road rage, and that's my way to let it out now. I think when you step to the thinking about my mom missing stuff is more of just an emotional breakdown than a rage breakdown.
Yeah, I understand that way. I get it. I don't know where it's even coming from at the time, but I get that emotion, and I know what to do now.
What do you do?
I observe it.
Okay.
And consume it. I observe it. So I give myself this pause before I make any decisions, so I don't make sure I'm answering just off emotion. And I never did think about stuff twice before. I was just spur of the moment, you know what I mean? It's been real weird for me. Like, I've been writing, I've been journaling, but when I go to write, I have this experience that I go to write, and what I write is nothing what I'm even thinking. I have no idea what's going on.
It just runs through.
Yeah. Like that one I read to you, that's not where I was supposed to be writing at all.
That's the same thing we're talking about humanity and how to get them to look in a different light. But you have people like that. I don't think they'd ever see it. No matter how bright the light is, I don't think they'd ever see it.
They're the ones that create so much busyness that they have no time to think. They get up, they've got to go straight to work. They come home, they're exhausted, they eat, they take a shower, they go to bed and repeat. You know what I mean?
That way they don't have to feel.
There's no time for understanding. That's not life. You know what I mean? It's like you got to get kicked out of the game to see it.
I had a little bit more understanding. Like, I feel busy now, but like when I was 17, graduating high school, my dad's like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "What do you mean I'm going to do? I'm going to work at Walmart and I'm going to get property that's 5 miles off the highway. And that's it, dude. What else is there?" I was like, "They got good dental and health and we're good." And he says, "You don't want more?" And I'm like, but I think we had two different pictures of what was more. That freedom and then California, the working, the like hustling. I'm like, is it more? I don't think it. I have it now and I still kind of could have just done that. We didn't have the kids, dude. We'd be gone. We'd be in Arkansas, Oklahoma, somewhere I could ride all year and just not be around the bullshit.
A part of this idea on this show too was to make the future not sound so scary for people. It's humanity. We're going to go through swings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to go through really shitty times, go up, have decent times. It's never going to be the same for any generation.
That's, I think, the hard part of like seeing the news now and they say how divided we are. And I was like, everywhere I'm at, I don't feel it.
There's no division within the people. We're just told there is.
Yeah, I was like, I don't get it. I was like, and I'm in San Bernardino and it's called San Bernardino. Like, we have every mix of trash and ghetto, everything's there. And it's one of those, you learn to not trust anybody. But at the same time, there's people that are right there that have your back that have no, like what we were saying earlier, similar things in different lights. And it's like, we don't see it that way. I was like, but they're right there to have your back no matter what the situation is.
Yeah, that experience builds bonds better than anything else does.
I was like, so in the 90s, I'm not going to say what motorcycle club for good reasons. My dad ran as like somebody who ran alongside with him. He never joined or patched in, but there was times like being on the beach playing with someone who different skin color. And to me, that's didn't mean anything. I was like, my neighbors, the same thing. But there was a moment he pulled me away because all those people were there watching. And to him, that was bad. And I was like, I've never had that feeling again. And I was like, that's why I think I've seen the world change. But at the same time, they're telling us it hasn't, or it's gotten worse. And I was like, I thought about doing a video about this because I've told the kids that started to want to ride, and I'm like, wait till you're fucking 30. Like, I was like, I know it sounds extreme. I was like, but the roads out here and the way these people drive, they're crazy. And you got to know what to anticipate. And you're not even driving, so you have no idea what it's going to look like. I was like, they have a brother from their mom's like first real relationship, and he got on a sport bike, and within months went in the back of a Suburban. And I was just like, and it was in a spot. They told me, they're like, oh, it was like 8:30 in the morning, and he was getting on at this off ramp, and I was all, there's traffic instantly. Like you could just, I'm like, I know there's gonna be traffic right there, but I don't know. Thank God he's only got a 250 or 300cc bike or whatever. I was like, if it was anything else and like a 600, he'd probably be dead. Like he probably would have obliterated himself in the back of that Suburban.
I don't know many people that live going in the back of something.
Yeah, it's thankfully he didn't have enough time to flee. I had a football field. When I looked over to the merge, I was like, that's nothing. The football field ain't shit. I was like, football players are running that in less than 8 seconds. I was like, you think you can do it on a bike slower? Like you have more time to react? I'm like, no. So I told him, like, you got to know what the road is going to be before you lower all your safety to nothing and then go for it.
Yep.
So, like, I wish I rode sooner, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't.
I think like for going back to the winter time and not being able to ride, like when we do get to ride, we just ride the hell out of the summer kind of thing. I'm not necessarily got your fill, but then also like wintertime for me is like my time to focus on like saving money and PL or time off for the summer. So I've got that to focus on.
That makes sense.
So yeah, like unless I get sick, I don't take a day off until it's riding season.
Thinking, I don't honestly know how I would handle riding again. All I think about is doing it, but I'm scared to death.
What ways? I know there's different ways you were figuring out. Let's say you do. Is there a path that you found that you want sounds promising?
I really don't want to go to the trike at all. I know that's probably the smarter move, but it's not mine.
Have you looked at the ones that have the lean technology, like the suspension where it still does the movements?
I've only seen them on the Harleys. I haven't seen any on Indian.
There's a couple. I can't recall one that's for the rear, but there's one for the front. They were at One Moto in Portland. They had them on display, and they had Indian and Harleys.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I was like, if I can might have it in one of my YouTube videos, I'll go back and look, and if I find it, I'll share it.
Yeah, my mom's scared to death of me getting back on one. She held it together the entire time. When they come see me in the hospital, I was like 12 hours away from them. They only came down every weekend or every other weekend. So she'd come in and be calm, and then Dad said as soon as she left, she just broke down and cried the entire way. I've never seen that side of it. But so that stays in my head. She wants me to get something a little safer, but I just love that lean so much.
That's why I'm like, the trike that doesn't have, like, you could be in a slingshot or convertible, or I was like, yeah, the trike, you get the wind, but I don't think you really get the same experience.
You get the wind, but you steer like a four-wheeler. You don't move with it.
Did you guys ever ride the old three-wheelers? The old, like, one, you turn just a little too wrong and you fucking roll that bitch?
Somehow I ran myself over with one of them.
I ran myself over with a quad, and on one of those. There was one time I was in high school, going to see somebody, and dropped my foot down on the ground and drug it down, and like my whole ankle, shin felt messed up, but that didn't stop me, like from parts of it.
Dude, I wrecked hard my very first time riding my bike. I should have learned then. I'm telling you, I was doing good. I was smiling ear to ear, 40, 50 miles an hour. Then I get to this like 90-degree fucking curve, and I'm like, I don't know how to turn.
I wrecked the bobber the first night that I had it. Yeah, I don't tell anybody. I dropped an FTR too and had that on film, but I deleted that shit. So the way the road was, there's like a bridge that comes up like this, and then the road curves up, but there's a stop sign, and really didn't like fully commit to what I was doing. And then at 5 miles an hour maybe, and bucked off the bike, landed on my shoulder, skid on the helmet, and like the adrenaline, thankfully, because the shifter peg broke on the bobber, so I had to like replace it the next day. But I locked my foot under the arm and just kept shifting. Got home, and then the next day I couldn't like really lift my left arm. And it's
Oh,
just
really?
like, yeah, I was like, just the adrenaline got me home. And then the next day I was like, oh, shit. And that was the first, like, you question, I don't know if I can fucking keep doing this. Like, first night, like, the rest is history. Yeah. For a while, I couldn't help the daughter play volleyball. So that was like something I was more mad at than actually crashing the bike.
And I broke down crying the other day because I couldn't go out and play catch like I used to. I can't throw without falling down now. At the moment, I'm still learning.
Yeah, trying to do that twist and, throw the ball.
Pushing off with one leg, one foot.
Yeah, because the ankle doesn't move at all. It's just stiff. So me pivoting or anything, I just fall over. Most guys don't really touch on mental health. So I was glad you brought that up earlier.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're in a spot where more people do. And I was actually really happy that video reached people, that I felt it that night. I was on my way home and I was just messed up. I could just feel it, like, more than any time I could feel it before. And I got home, I told Nikki, I was like, I'm gonna go grab the camera and I'm gonna go try to put something together. I don't know what it's gonna be. Honestly, if it wasn't for I have the task cam. So I had the task cam on and then the GoPro in another part of the shed. So when I walk away from the camera, I still have audio. And I was like, if I didn't have that and I was just going off the GoPro, that video might have been nothing. Because I don't know if it was like I couldn't face the camera or myself when I was saying it. Or I don't know if you've ever had, like, where your throat feels swollen and you can't actually say the words. That shit sucks. And that's how I was feeling. We were Austin for the sport chief, and can't remember dude's name. I follow him. He's one of the IMRG guys, and he came up to me and thanked me for the video. And I was just like, oh, this did something. I was like, as long as it's one person, I was like, I don't care what I look like coming out of it. And I was like, and that's I get the fully tatted up biker, big guy look, and people will tell Nikki I look that way. So he's just a big teddy bear. Stop telling people that. And I was like, we keep this.
So I gotta look too because I'm salty inside.
Now, granted, I can get mean. I was like, but it's very rare, and I'm very glad it's very rare because I do not want that all the time. It's not fun. But I usually get it now more protecting. We were in Palm Springs, and a car cut in between us, but they cut right next to me. So it was one of those, I'll rip your throat out. Like, get away from everything. And then we were in Vegas, and somebody tried to cut in front of Picasso. They were like on him. So our whole group was like yelling at this dude that's like trying to honk and everything. It was one of the funniest moments because I'm telling the dude to go fuck himself. But then we have this dude, Chris, who's Canadian, pretty much translate it to Canadian because he goes, get fucked, bud. And it was just the funniest shit, man. And it was the first time, like, same thing. First time Picasso had come out and we were all together, and it was just one of those instant, like, we're protecting each other. And it was, I don't know. Those are those moments I focus back on. And like, this community was ridiculously good.
So it's almost like you got to go through shit and then you get a bike, and then that's why the community works, because we've all
Healing our trauma together.
Yeah.
We're just not talking about it. We're like, yay. And then back to, okay, that's healed something. We just don't have to talk about it. That's great.
This has been an episode of Shifting Perspectives with Jeff and Josh and myself.